Donald Trump says he will support legislation reining in executive power if Republicans support his border emergency now. Trump appeared to make a U-turn at the last minute, after a senator said Wednesday that the White House sent word that Trump would not accept a similar deal. The president initially warned lawmakers they'll have to go through him to end his border emergency, threatening Thursday to use the power of his pen for the first time in his presidency. Trump said he would veto a bipartisan resolution senators planned to pass today that would terminate his national emergency. The resolution will pass with the support of at least 6 GOP senators, possibly more, as lawmakers from his own party rebel against his request for executive authority. I am prepared to veto, if necessary. The southern border is a national security and humanitarian nightmare, but it can be easily fixed. He seemed to suggest later that he would be willing to make a deal with Republicans balking at his emergency who'd pitched the vice president on a compromise 2 days prior. Democratic Senator Chuck Schumer meanwhile called it a red-letter day in the history of how the United States functions as he urged senators in prepared remarks to restrain Trump now. The U.S. Senate will take up the emergency this afternoon, Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell announced from the floor. I will vote to support the president's decision later today, and I will encourage our colleagues to do the same, he said. McConnell advised senators who disagree with Trump to support legislation amending his emergency powers. He suggested they examine how the National Emergencies Act can be updated to reflect those concerns. I hope they can report bipartisan solutions through the regular order that the full Senate can take up, he said. McConnell encouraged lawmakers to not lose sight of the vote that is before us later today, which he said was on a narrow question not especially difficult. Trump told GOP senators earlier in the day, as he attempted to quell the rebellion, quit overthinking his national emergency as they deliberated how to vote on a resolution rebuking him. Trump says he told them to vote any way you want, vote how you feel good, while cautioning that it will very bad thing for them long into the future if they move to terminate it. I think anybody going against border security, drug trafficking, human trafficking, that's a bad vote, he warned on Wednesday. A movement to curb executive authority was afoot as Republicans looked for an off-ramp on the eve of the emergency vote that put them on their first major collision course with the Republican Party leader. Trump signaled he wasn't concerned enough to take them up on a deal to preserve his emergency in exchange for future limitations, however, noting at a White House briefing on drugs that he may have to exercise his first veto to protect it. We have a vote tomorrow on national emergency. We'll see whether or not I have to do the veto, and it will be, I think, all very successful regardless of how it all works out, he stated. Trump insisted early Wednesday afternoon on Twitter that the country has a major national emergency on the border and that's all senators need to be considering. Trump claimed later, at his meeting on drug trafficking, that it is an urgent national crisis his administration is doing many, many things to combat, in addition to a wall. He argued once again that the vote that will take place on Thursday in the U.S. Senate is not about constitutionality, nor is it a vote on precedent. You should take a look at what President Obama did with DAC-8 and with so many other things. That was no precedent, he said. And I think most Republican senators fully understand that. He denied a charge from Rand Paul that he was putting extreme pressure on senators to back him in the vote, telling a reporter, "Nobody's beaten up. I said use your own discretion." Trump insisted that Democrats voting to terminate his resolution are for open borders and want drugs and crime to flow into the country unregulated.